There's an old expression that said, by their fruits ye shall know them. And although that's a pretty common expression, the problem with that expression that everybody doesn't have the kind of fruits that make you know them. But every now and then, we come across an individual who, based on their programs and activities and lifetime and dedication and endeavors and projects, they project and put out some good fruit. They put out some good fruit, and that's how you become familiar with that individual is because of the fruit and the fruits that they put out. Well, I'm so happy to let you know, rather, that my name is Alex C. Habersham, and I'm your host today for A Call to Action. And while I'm thinking about it, I want you all to join us on social media and on YouTube because we disseminate some important information to the community. And I don't want to be political, but let me tell y'all something. Now is the time. I'm gonna say that again. And I'm not gonna do what they used to type up, Miss Westbrook. I ain't gonna do that to her. For all men to come to the aid of their country. No, I mean that may be true, but that's all I'm gonna say. Now is the time. And so we have somebody with us today in the person of Miss Gwenette Westbrook, who not only now but has been the president of the NAACP for quite some time, and not in name. Sometimes people get positioned and they want their name out there. They want to build a legacy of recognition. Well, not Miss Westbrook. She is building a legacy of productivity and community involvement, being concerned about others. And as a matter of fact, you know, her impact was so great till a couple of weeks ago, she got an award from the United Negro College
Yes, sir. Yes,
for
sir.
Community Input Award. So we're so happy to have you. And I use that introduction because, uh, watch me. They said, by their fruits ye shall know them, but there's something else that says, give me my flowers while I can smell them.
Yes, yes.
So what I'm
I
doing,
was so honored. I was very honored.
yes, ma'am. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's Gwenette Westbrook, and just talk a little bit, first of all, for you to be that involved and that dedicated. And, I know they don't pay you.
No,
I know,
sir. No, sir.
I know it's a volunteer, but so what embodied that sense of community and that sense of making a difference in you? Why are you like this?
Well, actually, Mr. Havisham, even as a child growing up, a teenager, my mother would have me working in the community at a very young age as a teenager. When with our elderly people in the community, she would have me going to their houses, reading different things and filling out paperwork and then we had some people in the community. She would have me going to their house cooking, and for them that was
Wow.
elderly. So I learned how to cook at a very young age because she would have me doing different things in the community for different people, especially our elderly people. And so some years after I started, and matter of fact, people didn't realize I started, and I'm not going to name the name of the company, but I started working. I was 15 years old. I worked during the summer and after school, and I developed discriminate. Discrimination. I was impacted by discrimination as early as the age of 15. Didn't and I was able to at the age of 15. I was able to recognize that's what was happening to me. And then as I got a little older, right after high school, well, actually, I worked all the way through summer and after school programs until I actually graduated, and then I started working. I'm not going to name the company, but I was discriminated in that company, and I contacted the NAACP to help me with my complaint, and they came to my rescue. And so this was like back in 1999. And after that, I joined the organization. I wanted to give back because they came to my rescue to help me at a time when I needed. And just to say that I um, did end up winning I ended up in filing a lawsuit, and we did settle out of court. But the thing is, like I said, that's what made me wanted to get involved in the community and give back, because I started at a very young age working in the community. And
And I'm so happy for the impact that she had on you, people in the community, not only from the time she needed the help as a teenager, but throughout all of those years and throughout those years before. Well, interestingly enough, I mean, I think that bespeaks of the relevance and the importance of the NAACP, not only as it relates to the time uh, that it supported Miss Westbrook as a teenager, but also prior to that time. I mean, for over 100 years, the
yes,
NAACP had been involved, and even to today, it still is involved, and it's high time. I'm gonna go to. I'm full of saying today, but there's another old saying that says somebody said we must lift ourselves up by our own bootstraps. Well, that may be difficult because you got to bend over to to tie your boots. But the truth of the matter is, we have a responsibility as individuals to do all we can to make our community better, to make our neighbors better, to make our church members
mm-hmm.
better, to make our coworkers better, to make our friends better, to make our family better. And then there needs to be a vehicle. I mean, it doesn't always have to be a lawsuit. It doesn't always have to be a problem, but there are other initiatives, you know, that in which the NAACP is involved that we all need to support. And I said that, Miss Westbrook. So
Yes,
before
sir.
we off the call, I want you to the Zoom. I want you to let people know how they can join. So let's talk about the today's version of the NAACP and go ahead and discuss, some of the areas of interest, some of the programs, some of the focus areas, the projects and initiatives. And while you talk about these areas, be sure to interject how the community can support what you're doing.
Yes, sir. One of the things that and this is something when I first was elected, this was in 2012 when I was first elected, I had held a town hall meeting to see what the needs of the community were and some of the issues that were going on. And so that's something that we're going to be going back to. Um, we've already started scheduling our first town hall meeting, which we're looking at the first town hall meeting to be this month, because we know that the legislature will go back and will be in session in January. So we're trying to get a meeting scheduled, especially with our newly elected officials, because there's so many things that are going on in our community that affects housing, um, our criminal justice system, and education, a lot of different things. So we want to make sure that we're on the same page, that because they are working for us. And so we want to be able to, during this town hall meeting, we want to be able to let them hear from the community and then get some impact and feedback from them also. That's something that we're going to be doing on a monthly basis, having town hall meetings. We're just hoping that the community come out to these town hall meetings to address some of the concerns that they have, because when you have people in positions, as far as our special legislation, that can hear from the community, I can say what I want to say to them and tell them what's going on, but when they hear from the community, it shows that it's not just an isolated incident or one person saying that these issues are going on. So I think town hall meeting is something that's going to be crucial to our community, that we're going to be start back having on a monthly basis. Um, some other things that we do also, there's something that's critical, and I encourage I am also the district coordinator for the state of NAACP, because I am the third vice president for the state also, in which I'm the district coordinator, where I organize branches throughout the state of Georgia. And I encourage all the branches to make sure that they sit in our courtrooms. There's something that we do, and starting in January, we're going to get the court calendar for the different court dates for the court, and we sit in our courtroom to make sure that our judicial system is fair. Because when I do sit in there, I do see things and I do hear things, and so I have to address those things also. So we want to make sure that we have a fair judicial system, whether it comes to the judges, or especially we focus a lot on probation violations. And so those are some of the things that we're targeting because, the governors um, are focusing on trying to do things where there is not mass incarceration. So we want to make sure that our governor and our judges and our probation officers or community supervision, they're on the same page, because it didn't benefit the community if the governor is on one page and then the probation officer on one page, and they're doing things to keep people in jail, and then the governor is trying to do things to keep people out of jail. So those are some of the things that we're working on. Also, we do housing is something we're going to be visiting. They have housing day at the state capitol every year. I always attend that to keep updated on different laws, because right now housing is so critical, especially people. We have so many people that are homeless, and I tell people all the time that we have people that have income, that have jobs, that are homeless, and it's not necessarily that they're not paying their rent all the time, because there's no longer any affordable housing, and there's no laws put in place where an owner or a landlord can there's no cap on how much you can charge person for rent. So until we get something in place like that, I think that we're going to see more and more people homeless that have incomes that just cannot afford to pay the increasing amount in the rent that's being you know now they're charging anywhere from 12, 13, $1,400 a rent, a month of rent. So that's something that we're focusing on. But I think that in our education, our history is being targeted. Um, and so we have to, stay abreast on that, because I just think that, you know, every race has a history. And for some reason, our history is being targeted. And for some reason, they don't want, people to know about our history. And I think that um, you have to know where you come from before you can really actually know where you want to go. I say it
Absolutely.
all the time. And I think that if, and when I was doing voter registration at Macon State College a few months ago, and just talking to students and just having a conversation with them about the history, they were just it's just that they was just attuned. Some of them were just attuned to, and they was like, my grandmother would love to talk to you. They were actually interested. Some students were not, but you have some students that don't know the history. And when I started talking about it, they were just, they was glad that I was there to talk about those things. So I think that we have to continue to educate our community. I think that education is going to be the key to just about anything that we do. Voting is something that we're targeting. Also, we don't do voter registration just during the election. We do voter registration throughout the year. The main thing is making, when people do register to vote, making sure they get out and vote. We had a low voter turnout in Macon during this presidential election, and so we just gotta, we that's why we gotta have these town hall meetings. You gotta get them there you gotta get them there to talk about the things that's a concern, something that maybe they're dealing with housing. But once they get there, we got to talk about voting. We got to talk about, because there's no point of talking about housing if you don't vote, because whatever, it in our state legislature, we can't get them to pass laws to protect y'all, to keep them from raising y'all rent. So I'm saying, if you don't vote, then you just need to accept whatever's going on. If you don't, that's one. And I just say voting is a tool, the most nonviolent tool that we have, that we can basically get what we want. We just vote. And our spending is another thing that I tell people all the time. And I tell you, don't spend, but that's one of the things those are two things that we have power in: our spending and in voting.
The ballot and the book. The
Yes,
book
sir.
and the ballot. And I'm glad
I'm
you,
gonna use that phrase, the ballot in the book.
that's it. That's it. The ballot and the book, are very, very crucial. And I'm glad you kind of interjected that, because I think we need to move in the direction, and I don't want to do too much editorializing. But I mean, sometimes we have, in many instances, the resources like the voting power and the spending power.
In the power.
We can make a difference in our own lives.
Sure
You know,
can.
by doing business whenever feasible and possible, with in our own community,
In our own communities.
by
Mm-hmm.
going to the Black pages, and if you need a painter, I have been trying to provide a resource for over 30 years for people
Right.
to find African American businesses, and I think that the times are dictating to us that those things that we can do, and I'm glad you brought that up, Miss Madam President, uh, because excuses come out of trash cans.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That there
Right.
are a lot of things that we can do in those
Can
areas
do.
just mentioned that can make a difference. And then the other thing I want you to do is just encourage people, that we have got an obligation to participate. You don't need to wait until you got a problem,
So you got a problem.
to be
That's
involved in
right.
an initiative like that. So tell people how they can be involved in what you're doing.
So, just like Mr. Habershan said, you don't want to wait till you have an issue. We want you to be involved. And most of the time that's how I did when it happened to me. Then I wanted to get involved to be able to help somebody else. So that's what I'm doing now. That's why I've dedicated my life to making sure that this didn't happen to somebody else. Um, but membership is $30 per year, is annually, and it's just $30. We ask for you to join this organization, and not just join. We want you to work. We have different committees that once you join, we have different committees that you can be. So we try to make sure that we ask people, their interests, not just say put someone somewhere, because we have housing, we have education, we have health. All these are committed: housing, health, education, our veterans. We have a youth chapter. We have voter registration and voter education. We have political action. We have labor and industry. We have economic environment. So we have all of those committees that we do have, um, where you could be a part of it. And like I say, all of these different committees basically deals with everything that anybody would have any issues with, that we would be able to handle. I think that, and it's something that, when you join, there's constant training. We're always in training to keep you abreast of, what's going on, and making sure that you are equipped with the tools that you need to be able to handle the situation. But like I said, we don't want you to just join. We need your help. There are so many issues in this community, just this Macon, that we need to be dealing with, and we need your help. We need this community help. Years ago, you know, when things happen in the NAACP uh, would speak, people would listen, and then they were band together. And if the NAACP said don't ride the bus, then nobody's not gonna ride the bus. But we just gotta. This organization has been around for a long time, and I just want to say we're gonna be there. No one in this organization get paid. We do this every day, and we do it without pay. We do it because we love what we do, and we love helping people. So, uh, everyone that's in an organization uh, doesn't necessarily mean that they care about people. And that's not just organization. That's in people in their professions. Some people are in it for the money, so they're in it. But when you do something for free, and you're not being paid to do it, then that speaks volume.
It does, and that's absolutely true. So how can they join? Should they there a number or website, or just because
Yes.
I'm
Now you can go to the and we're actually in the process of getting our website back up. We did have a website, so we have someone else up to set it up and manage it, and we're going to be getting started on that, where people can actually go online on our website and join. But you can there's a couple ways. You can call our office at 478-745-9944, and we can mail you an application, or you can go on the NAACP's, just type in NAACP, and it'll have a link for membership. The only thing you can pay by credit card there, but then you'll just make sure you link your membership to 5215. It's going to ask you for a number, and you just link your membership to this branch, which is 5215.
Yeah, yeah, that's extremely important. And then I want to have a separate conversation with you soon, uh, for to talk about the economic element of that, because that's so important.
Yes, sir.
It's so important, because we circulate a lot of money in this community.
Yes, sir. We
Three
sure
point
do.
five billion dollars, and then we need to try to make you know more people millionaires and find some resources and find some
Right.
ways. The interesting thing, Madam President, is that there are ways. You don't have to be all up front. It doesn't take all that fanfare, but
Right.
there are ways that we can help our community, you
Right.
know, with the ballot and the book, and then volunteering and say, it ain't hard.
It's
We
not
just
hard.
we just need to be committed to doing that. So I'm hopeful that after, listening to your story and how you've dedicated your life and how you aren't paid and how you are a state officer and probably going to be a national officer soon and how you go across the state and how you do training. So I just want to applaud you and I hope and pray that what you are doing and have done as just used to be just a member and you moved on to president for over the last 10 years, that I hope that serves as a source of motivation. We all look, we're in this thing together.
Yes, sir. We are.
Everybody can play a role in what we're doing and what you're doing. So we really, really appreciate. Talk a little bit about your award. We're not gonna snuff over that, because I said in the beginning about their fruits, ye should know them. So just talk a little bit about that presentation that was made at the UNCF Gala a couple of weeks ago, when Forrest B. Johnson and some other organizations throughout the community were raising money, to provide scholarship for our students. And they did do an award ceremony, and they gave you, I don't know which one it was, but whichever one it was very, very deserving. So I
Thank
want
you. Yes,
to,
sir. Yes, sir. I was contacted by Forrest B. Johnson himself, and he told me that I had been chosen to receive an award. And he said, "You are gonna be there, right?" And I said, "Yes." I was gonna be there anyway. And so he told me that, asked me to send a bio, and I sent him all of, my bio, and so we were there that night, and it was just an honor because, like I said, I don't do what I do um, for recognition. I'm kind of always in the background, uh, unless I'm, like I said, people don't realize how much work that we do, and a lot of times, most of the time, we can resolve things behind closed doors. We don't have to get in the media. When you see me in the media, then I've exhausted everything else, and sometimes things need to be in the media. But a lot of things that we do, um, we are able to get a lot of things do. Like I said, we go into the jail. I go into the jail every week, just about every week, and I advocate for people. And then, like I said, we don't condone anyone breaking the law. But at the same time, if you are incarcerated, you still have rights. Being incarcerated, being indicted, being charged, still it does not mean that you don't have rights while you're incarcerated. So we want to make sure that people, are getting the medical contention that they need. Make sure that they're seeing their attorneys, making sure they have a fair trial and all of that. So those are some things that we focus on when people are incarcerated. But like I say, the award was it was such an honor, and like I said, I don't do it to get to be recognized, but it was just amazing that people do pay attention to the work that you do in the community.
well, I just want to again congratulate you by by her fruits. You already know her. I'm gonna modify that expression. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Habersham, interviewing Miss Gwenette Westbrook, who not only is a member but is the president and have been involved in the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People for a long time. It's a historical organization, and the truth of the matter is, over 100 years later, The need for it is just as prevalent now
It
as
is.
it was over 100 years ago. But she cannot be successful. It cannot be successful without your input and your support. So we're asking you to give that phone number again.
That number is 478-745-9944. And we're going to be doing blankets to the nursing home this month. And we're also going to be doing some giving out baskets for Christmas, food baskets for Christmas.
Outstanding.
Yes, sir.
We want you to continue to tell all your friends and your colleagues and your associates about a call to action because we are
I
very
will. Yes,
we're very,
sir.
and we want the information is the key, and we
Yes,
want to
sir.
and we just appreciate you. I'm going to put on the screen how you can join our mailing list, and then also going to put how you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Miss Westbrook, I will be sending you this.
Okay.
Uh, Share it on your upcoming website and on your Facebook
I
page,
will. I will.
wherever else. But I just want to
And thank
public,
you so much for all you do in the community, and especially, with our Black business. I want to thank you for, all that you do in the community also.
yeah, you're very welcome. This is a call to action. I'm your host, Alex Havisham. Have an interview, Miss Gwenette Westbrook, watch me, the award-winning president of the NAACP. Get involved. Remember that you can be involved
Yes, sir.
because you can use the buck and the ballot. I'm your host, Alex Havisham. Have a great day.
www.makingblackpages.com.
Plans are underway to publish the 2024-2025.
Macon, Middle Georgia Black Pages and Resource Guide.
Thanks to community-wide support, we will celebrate the 33rd year of the publication. It will be produced
digitally
and in hard copy.
The new
edition of the Macon, Middle Georgia
Black Pages
will spotlight modern technology, including AI, as we continue to provide an opportunity
to expose your business
or service at reasonable rates.
The new
An improved website is another means of getting your business before the public.
download our app
The ad that you purchase will automatically appear on both the website
and
the publication. We have expanded our marketing services, which include
email blast
to over 15,000 recipients, website advertising, social media, and more. For additional information,
Give us a call at 478-464-0074
or email info@
MaconBlackPages.com.